Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Film is the one medium that we have where whatever I film, whatever I put onto the screen is what I intend to be out there. It's art. My favorite genre. It's definitely horror, specifically indie horror, because I like to think of myself as some pretentious douchebag that likes to know that people like me could also make film and make it somewhat artistic and make it interesting to people to actually want to watch. So
my favorite genre is fantasy, which is why to me the greatest films of all time are Lord of the Rings. To be able to go back and see them in theaters, I would definitely take up that opportunity because that'd be amazing, and they'd still look great. I saw the Hobbit movies in theaters. Not as good. I really like the first one.
I mean, for as much as I have my own home theater and love to watch Blu-rays and sit on the couch, nothing beats going to the theater, buying that ticket, and having the smell of popcorn in the air, sitting in these seats, and being able to sit in a dark room with the best possible picture quality and the best possible audio equipment available on the market. My favorite movie-going experience was with Hereditary. Went to the movie. It was completely packed theater. Everyone there was the best possible audience. It was opening night.
I really cherished the movie theater experience, and having to go an entire year without especially showed me that there's something magical about being in the theater with the smell of popcorn, with the big screen, that you just can't get at home, no matter how nice your setup is, how good the sound is, how good the screen is.
Gosh, go take some smoke while I'm dying before it goes off. What's the shittiest looking popcorn?
See, this is why we need to go to the theater. We're gonna set off the fire alarm. Look at it. It's a rat.
It's just not the same, you know?
Yeah, the whole atmosphere with the movie theater is why I like to go and spend money there.
Fuck, it's hot. Yummy burnt popcorn.
Mr. Keefer, can we be done now?
As someone who loves going to theaters, I'm still always going to choose to see it in theaters, but I know I'm in the minority, especially in our generation, it seems like, where I'd rather go to the theater.
You know what would make this better? If we paid money to go see it in the theater.
Line.
That's when you go, yeah, let's go pay $18 to go see it in the theater.
And actually, it's fun. For instance, when the Suicide Squad came out earlier this year, I watched it in theaters, but then over the weekend, I was also able to go home and rewatch it.
I think in 2017, I saw 65 movies. So, before that, I always loved going to the movies whenever my mom would bring me. It was always, like, one of my favorite things to do. Pre-pandemic, I was going a ton. I mean, I started this whole movie-going experience when I was 16. I started collecting Blu-rays just because I liked watching movies.
You have them all spread out.
Because alphabetical order.
Yeah, but even then, I just put mine under Marvel, and then I just have my whole little Marvel section.
I actually have 2 copies of the original Psycho, because then I have the 4-movie collection, because it's the only way you can get Psycho 4. Psycho 4, The Beginning, which I haven't watched any of the sequels, but I will.
I've seen about 25 movies this year. We're nearing the end, so from like March till now, it's been about that many. Part of that is because, especially earlier in the year, there wasn't as much coming out. Pre-pandemic, 2019, I saw 62 movies in theaters. Going into 2020, I was at 18. I was on track to actually do more, and then COVID hit and everything got shut down. And it was actually really rough. For a while it was whatever, and I still had movies I could watch at home, whether it be new movies on Netflix, or, just older movies.
Got 4K Steelbook of Knives Out, designed to look like a novel. We got some Predator down there. Oh, a Christmas classic. It's one of those purchases where you like just go to buy condoms and you're like, oh, I need something else to throw on the counter. You're just taking 2 and 3. Should I go on eBay and try and find the steelbook for Ghostbusters 2?
No, because it's a dog shit movie. It's just so beautiful.
But then I did get to a point where I was really just missing it, because that was something that was part of my weekly routine at that point. I got to the point where I drove 2 hours down to Indiana to go see Tenet because they had their theaters open and we didn't here. And I was literally, me and the person I went with were the only person in the theater, so it was actually great. Even though the movie looks great on my TV, you can't match just the feel and sound, even if it's overwhelming, of seeing that movie in theaters.
Christopher Nolan, I mean, for as much as I am a fanboy of him, I think he's a perfect example of going to the theater versus seeing it at home, because you can watch it on your laptop, you can watch it on your phone, you can watch it on your TV, but nothing will ever beat sitting in the theater, especially in an IMAX theater, and experiencing the best possible picture quality, the best possible sound equipment available on the market the way that the director intended.
Blockbusters definitely benefit the most from being seen in theaters, but I really enjoy being able to see indie movies.
And some of my favorite movie-going experiences have been the tiny, unknown films. I remember I woke up, it was 10 a.m., I went by myself, and it was like a random Thursday morning. I went and saw Swiss Army Man. When I'm watching movies at the house, I'm still surrounded by things that bring me to reality, like being in a familiar place, being around all of my materials, having my phone that's accessible, and being able to pause the movie, going to the theater, turning off my phone, knowing that I can't pause the movie is one of my favorite things about it, is that it forces me and the audience around me to fully be within this filmmaker's art.
It seems like our generation doesn't cherish that experience as much as others, especially with being able to watch whatever you want at home. Movies dropping same day on HBO Max, or Disney Plus even in some examples. So it does make me nervous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but this is the new normal for us now, especially in this pandemic where a lot of people are too scared to actually go out. A lot of these companies are going to be moving their platforms towards streaming services like HBO Max and their deal with Warner Brothers. All of their movies for the entirety of 2021 have been going straight onto HBO Max. So I feel like this is kind of moving into a scary area where there's honestly a possibility where going to the movie theater isn't going to be a big popular thing going forward.
2019, just pre-pandemic, Avengers Endgame became the highest grossing movie of all time. Eat shit, Avatar. The crowd just sort of went wild, quietly and respectfully in their seats, and you can't get that at home. And I'm happy to see that theaters seem to be doing okay numbers money-wise. Obviously, with the pandemic still going on, it's not great numbers, but they seem to be on track to make a healthy return once the rest of us make a healthy return.
Going forward, now that the vaccines are out and people are starting to feel a lot more comfortable, I think that studios should incentivize going to the theater over home streaming. We still have the Getty Drive-In near us, where going and seeing a drive-in movie theater is still possible. I think it's going to be one of those where we don't have 3 or 4 different movie theaters within like a 20-minute radius of us. There might only be like one. It'll always be there. It just might not be as accessible or as popular as it is right now, or where it was 5 years ago. Whether it be a big blockbuster or the little indie movie, I think that going to the theater is a community experience that people will remember forever and ever. I mean, everyone has a favorite movie. Everyone has a favorite time that they've been out to the theater. It's very important, and it's a very big part of our culture.
And your favorite movie of all time is Red Notice, right?
Absolutely. I loved Red Notice.